Bienvenidos. Good evening and welcome to Conversaciones de Salud. It's so exciting to be here with you today and para hablar sobre a podcast that we're doing now. And our first series will be on opioids. This is our 6th-year anniversary addressing opioids, fentanyl, and children's mental health. Le quiero dar las gracias a Human Partnership and to Strong Mind, Strong Body Foundation, the Youth Community Journalist Institute. So today we're going to start el programa con one of my very super special guests who has been so supportive of la comunidad and bringing information sobre pain management and sobre el crisis de las drogas. So if we could please bring in Dr. Alfonso Morales, it would be my honor to welcome you. Bienvenido.
¿Cómo está? Bienvenido. Gracias.
I was hoping to pull out some old videos because you've been with us for quite a while. Y usted siempre nos habla sobre el 5 de mayo, or if it's Hispanic Heritage Month, you share something about nuestra cultura and how it's connected to health. And so con eso le quiero dar la bienvenida and to let you know that we're having this Mi Casa Su Casa charla, una conversación. Vamos a tener about 5 series. And we're going to be talking about opioids, fentanyl, children's mental health. Today, we're going to start with framing the issue. And we're going to start with the expert's insight, which is why Dr. Morales is with us. The follow-ups later on will be on personal storytellings. It'll be on solution, resources, and community action. It'll be the youth and parent perspective. And finally, it will be a call to action. So welcoming you para nuestra conversación esta noche y presentándole con mucho orgullo al doctor Alfonso Morales. Por favor, la silla es suya. Venga and share what you're doing and your new clinics, and you have so much to tell us. So please, pa'lante.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to the public, and especially to the Hispanic community here in the Twin Cities, which is especially the young community, which is very close to my heart, with things that we can do to help them and help us, in becoming much more healthy in all aspects. It's not just mental health, but in the physical realm. And yes, I've been in practice for 35 years. I've been very active in the community. I've had community hospital clinics. I worked in a community hospital too. And I had Central Medical Clinic for many years, for almost 20 years. And then I retired from that more from the insurance perspective, and then got into trying to be more proactive instead of reactive medicine, because my passion has always been in prevention, and I don't think we do enough of that. Traditional medicine seems to be very reactive. Oh, you got a heart attack. Well, why aren't we preventing that heart attack in the first place, or that diabetes in the first place? Or somebody got overdosed. Why didn't we prevent that from the very? So my passion is prevention, because I think prevention can save so many more lives. And not only that, to the U.S. government dollars, as well, versus having the disease itself. So that's where I turned my whole thing, and I became the director of Revive. I founded Revive MD Clinic in St. Paul. And then in the Southwest area, we opened the Viva Vitality in Minnesota. Viva Vitality, because Viva in Spanish, vitality, and make Lakeville healthy. But we want to say make America healthy, or make U.S. healthy, whatever you want to call it, or make Minnesota healthy. It goes beyond just Lakeville location, which is where we live, or where I live here in the Southwest metro area, which is, by the way, very much in need and has a huge Hispanic population, especially growing in the Burnsville area and Apple Valley. I didn't realize that.
Oh, so how wonderful. It's fertile soil for
Yes,
exactly
it
what
is. It
you're
is.
doing.
It
And
certainly
Dr.
is.
Morales, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to thank you for mentioning the young people. And I think I sent you the survey that the kids did. We've got a wonderful small contract with the Minnesota Department of Health on cannabis awareness, and that was through the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Mhm.
One of uh, business people there has a contract, and so they reached out to us to involve the kids, involve Conversaciones de Salud, and so the
Mhm.
young people, which I think you'll be very proud to hear, they wanted to do more than just put an ad in the paper or write the article, and so they decided to do a survey. And so they took all the information that the department had sent and they fed it to ChatGPT. They came up with 10 questions. From the 10 questions, they went among themselves, dwindled it down to three, and
Mhm.
then among themselves, they passed it to their peers. It's a
I-
small group, it's a small, account, but it
mhm.
shows the power of los jóvenes and how when we show them the way and show them the expectations. And I share this with you because we're going to be inviting you to an activity October 18th at the Masonic Institute Brain Development. And at that time, all the youth that went through the journalism program this summer will be there. And we're talking about health. And so it would be tan orgulloso para tenerlo usted ahí y para que usted because I know you've met some of them,
Yes.
but yeah, but that we continue that padrino thing, that is very important in our community. That's who
Mhm.
we respect the minute you walk in the door, porque es un padrino, una madrina. And
Mhm.
so I just wanted to share that, and that's why I sent you the surveys, their responses, because it's just a little tiny seed.
Mhm.
But I think as we develop what we're developing and then working with our partners, I think we could really infiltrate that focus group within the peer to peer. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to share that with you and get your opinion because I know you like working with young people.
Yes, very much. Well, young people is the hope of this country. Young people is the hope of our economy. Young people is the hope of everything we do. So, the better educated the young people are, and the more well equipped they are, the better outcome we'll have over time. And let's be honest, the Hispanic population is going to become the majority very soon. If not, we are already the majority. So, and we'll be the majority in the voice in the government and so on. So, it's very important to equip the Hispanic population and also identify talent so we can continue our work in everything, whether it's in medicine, politics, what public health, whatever it is. I
Yes,
think that
and have you have the effect of the recent, ICE things and that extra trauma that's brought upon the Latinos in working with the jóvenes and their families when all the news was coming out. There was a lot of llantos. The mothers got together, los llantos. You could hear them from blocks, all the
yeah.
crying, and the crying was really, Doctor Alfonso, it was based because a lot of these parents lost their children to the drugs, to violence. They're
Mhm.
buried here. And so the thought of being displaced, being sent back wherever, they could deal with that. What they couldn't deal with was how do you leave your dead beloved person behind? And so I
Mhm.
just wanted to ask you about that mental health
Mhm.
aspect en nuestra comunidad because even at Mercado Central, everybody said, no, it wasn't ice. It was not, but it said ice. So everybody got freaked out.
Yeah.
And that's the extra trauma. And the
Burden.
children are carrying that trauma.
Yes.
And so I wanted to just throw it back to you. And perhaps you can give us some advice on how we can best help nuestra comunidad en estos tiempos que están bien, bien, bien
Yeah.
duros.
Well, yes, absolutely. With the current administration there, it's been a very hesitant, really chills throughout the community, whether you are legal, you've had many generations here. Or, I mean, it just sends the wrong message to our community that all of a lot of discrimination, a lot of disregard for the community in the way the rhetoric has been presented. So it does send chills throughout all the community, whether you are legal or not or whatever. It just feels disrespectful. Now, most of the time, a lot of the kids now carry the extra burden because of their parents face potential deportation or they face definitely, one of the other things that people don't realize is for 20 years, and I still am, USCIS, which is United States Civil Surgeon, immigration surgeon. So what I do is basically do the medical exams for immigration. So if anybody needs an immigration exam, I'm here. So and for a while we were actually offering these for a very low price because it was important to get the community in as soon as possible that had problems with their immigration status. So we helped them out to go through the medical exam, which is a requirement to get into the process of legalization. So I got to hear a lot of stories through these patients that came in, I always would ask, how did you get here? It's heartbreaking to hear. And then now that they're facing potential deportation without any due process was to me very disheartening. So, of course, and then their kids being born here. And so what a complete disconnect. And so there's a tremendous burden going on in the community in regards to this and the potential deportation, whether it's true or not, the issues with ICE, discrimination, the community looking down upon us. I mean, all the stuff that's happening, plus the advent of guns and violence going on in the streets. I mean, there's too much stress going on that makes our community, especially young generations, head for the chemicals, whether it's alcohol or opioids.
Oops, did we lose him? Did we lose you, doctor? Usted está ahí? Well, I think we have a little bit of technical difficulty here. But it's interesting, this conversation around the trauma of nuestra comunidad. And I'm happy to hear that you are involved with the immigration and having those medical checkups. I think it's very important that we feature that in our news magazine. And it's also important that we dedicate some specific time to this in total Spanish so that we can generate this and pass it along nuestra familia. This show is going to be on Spin, and which is fabulous because then it goes right into the homes of nuestra gente. And it's very important to let nuestra comunidad know of the resources and that we're not alone, we're all together. And la cosa en nuestra comunidad es siempre que tenemos fe y la esperanza. Y eso es lo que siempre queremos seguir para adelante con eso. Y mientras tanto, as we talk about la salud, and with there's so many new drugs coming on the market and Snapchat. One of the series we'll be having on the next few weeks will be on the bills that have been passed and the policies that have been that are being worked on. Families who have lost their loved ones and they're now devoting their life and passion to fighting this crisis. We'll be inviting those folks in. We have a local mom here, Bridget Noring, with the Devin Noring Foundation. And Bridget is very, very active in the political landscape, not only here in Minnesota, but nationally, out of Washington, D.C. also. She did a lot of work with Snapchat, where her son had received a pill for a toothache, and the pill was laced with fentanyl, and he died. We have another mom, a Latina mom in California, and her son, unfortunately, also was taken by the fentanyl crisis that's out, ravishing not only our streets, but everyone else. Hey, hi. I'm
Hi,
glad to have you.
I somehow I got disconnected. I apologize. I don't know what you heard, but
No, 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 nada. I was just sharing with the folks la importancia
mm,
para nuestra comunidad because it's all interrelated. And so our children go to school and they're scared. They're scared when they go back home. Look at the shooting we just had in a school. I mean, it's all that extra. So I'm hoping that through our series here and as we work more with you and with Pepe, that we can really have a robust conversation y meterle mano a todo esto y buscar soluciones, cómo podemos trabajar juntos, and how we can identify those resources,
mhm.
how we can create new resources. And
Yes,
so, yeah, so I'm thrilled, but I also want to know about your background because I know you've told me about your dad and I know you told me about your passion. I understand you're into prevention, but it's greater than that, isn't it? You're,
yes, yes.
yes.
So I come from a family of doctors. Grandpa was a doctor back in Mexico. My dad is a doctor who was trained in Mexico City as well, and then he came to the United States to get his residency training here. And that's how he ended up in Minnesota. He did 6, 7 years of training here in surgery, and he became an MD, PhD. He's also at the he has many awards. He got the Watson Award here. His plaque is at the U of M for outstanding research in transplants. Back in the day, in the 1960s and 70s, they were doing early transplants, and so he was involved in that. So he was a cancer surgeon for many years in private practice. He's passed away about 4 years ago, and so he was my mentor. And the reason why I actually was so passionate about medicine, he had a very compassionate demeanor. And one of the things that I learned from him, I mean, I learned to do surgeries with him, but I also learned to I got more passionate about how can we prevent all this.
Mm,
How, that's what my passion was. If we could do something to prevent this we wouldn't be doing these large surgeries back in the day. So we've come a long ways since then, but that's what turned my passion to do more preventive medicine and work within the community, which actually feels like I do a greater impact there. So that's how it started. And in so far, I mean, it was a long journey because trying to convince insurance companies to do prevention and do this was always hard. That's why I kind of let go from insurances a little more, and I'm more uh, independent. I've always been an independent soul, and trying to be a few steps ahead of everybody.
yes,
So
and so in your prevention, you're a lot into pain management also, ¿verdad que sí? Usted,
yes, yeah. So I became very concerned with the pain. One of the most common reasons for people to come to the doctor was for pain, right? Pain issues. So I said, okay, a lot of these patients have pain, but they have chronic pain. So what's going on here? And many times you couldn't find a source of pain, or what was the pain? Well, they have back pain, or they have headaches, or they have. So how do we prevent this? But one of the things, yes, I became a pain specialist. That's one of my certificates, diplomat of the American Board of Pain Medicine, and I also became an addiction specialist. You can't use if you're going to be a pain doctor, you better be an addiction specialist too to see how that works with opioids and other things. So that uh, that's where I really saw that people turned their lives around by having a holistic type of care, more of a preventive type of care, making sure that they were exercising, eating correctly, getting their hormones under control, getting their weight under control. So once you did that, their sobriety was much more successful versus just treating them for an addiction or treating them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they're back in the street, doing their same thing. If you don't remove them from the environment that's triggering the addiction, they're still going to go back to the addiction. I mean, no matter what we do. So the importance was to try to remove them out of that environment and make them healthy overall. And that's what improved our success rates. I mean, we had at one point one of the highest success rates of recovery in the country because we were doing the holistic type of approach in these clients and patients. So that
Did
not
that
even
include the
Hazelden
family? Did that include the family also?
Yes, absolutely. Family intervention. So if you don't have a connection with the family, also you're not going to have a successful recovery. You have to be connected with the family. You have to have family support. And if you don't, then we have to remove you and put you in a place that is going to be friendly to you, whether it's a sober house or a place that there are people that stay years in a sober house because they just don't have a family, reliable family member that can support them, and they do very well in a sober house because they have that camaraderie type of relationship where each other is supporting themselves, and they have accountability. That's another part. You need accountability as well in order to be successful. So that's why we've been successful in doing that. And anybody, no matter where they're at in their journey of recovery, we can help in that regard. We have resources. If I can't help them, I have the resources where they're going to be always connected. And then I talk to them one-to-one because that makes also having psychosocial interactions with their doctor is going to be very helpful, that intervention.
And do you see young people also? Do you see?
Yes, the whole age range, young to old. Most of them, we're seeing them a little bit in the older age, older in their 20s and 30s. But I love to see people very young, teenagers. We've seen 18, 19. And then, of course, getting them earlier, if they're kids already kind of playing around or dabbling with marijuana or cannabis, that's when I want to get them because that's usually between the ages of 8 and 12. They can have that issue. So it's not, like I've always tried to say, it's not about giving naloxone or helling naloxone, but it's more about how we can prevent this from ever happening. These kids that really need a lot of support when they're young so that we can avoid them first getting into drugs. Yeah, that's the very important thing.
Well, with the survey that the students sent out, it was interesting to me how a few of them really wanted to know about drugs. How does it affect me, and can so it was eye-opening to see how even the very, very, very basic they don't have any concept of. And even when we were over at the Brain Center, and they'll ask questions like, really, can I, if I use drugs, can I donate my eyes? Can I donate a kidney? And so they're always asking something to do with the drugs and how it connects into the whatever it is that they're planning to do. And so I think that's why it's so important for them to see more of you, so that they could see, and that's why I thank you so much for being here. And I also have a cross-generational question that I've had 3 women call and ask me, and that is, all 3 are headed to their 80s, and they have pain in their shoulder, I guess bone on bone. And one of them with a hip. So their doctors are suggesting that they each go on operations. And so I told him, let me talk to the Dr. Morales first.
When you're 85, I don't know if surgery is going to be the best because now you're dealing with recovery. Even if it's a quick arthroscopic surgery where they don't recover healing, just the fact that they have to be immobilized for that long makes them fragile. And also having to be immobilized for recovery makes them more likely to fall. So that's the dangers of recovery. It's not, it's a arthroscopic surgery, in and out, outpatient. No, it's it's the recovery that people don't look at. And that's why somebody who's that old, we tend to do injections. We tend to do more, and we do regenerative injections. Instead of using cortisone, we use like exosomes or something like that helps improve the healing and recover faster, versus something that's a patch. And then of course exercise helps them, and that usually will take care of the problem. I mean, there's many times when people have fractures, old people have fractures, where we don't want to touch them anymore because we just say, okay, listen, you're not swimming, you're not playing tennis, all you need is just mobility to be able to walk and balance yourself in doing some weights. That'll take care of the problem. That'll heal in itself. So
Wow.
I'm very skeptical about surgery at that age.
I thank you so much for saying that. As I think about, Conversaciones de Salud print, that's the kind of information I want to share, because we're
Yes,
quick in, oh no, it's going to be a hip surgery. And I've read that, that decreases the quality of your life significantly. And
significantly. Yeah.
and I know that the bone on bone, what I've heard the most is, oh, I hate the crunching. It drives me crazy. And I'm thinking,
Mm,
well, put on some ear buffs or something,
mm. Yeah.
because the alternative to cut at such a fragile age, it was
Yeah.
very concerning for me.
It's concerning, very concerning, the recovery rate. Now, if somebody has a hip fracture, don't get me wrong, yes, they need if possible, a minimally invasive type of surgery, and then just get as soon as possible back on their feet and trying to work out. But just because they have bone and bone or arthritis, I would not operate that way. I would just make sure that they do more exercise, physical therapy, graded physical therapy, maybe some injections. That will help them a lot.
Move the body.
Yes, and then
It,
we use hormones too. Hormones really help. Like, I mean, testosterone derivatives in women. Most women would say, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to grow hair or have a big, deep voice." No, it's just smaller amounts of testosterone that help, or its derivatives like oxandrolone that help to really improve bone mass in women. That would help them. An example is my mother's on it. She's on she's 86 and she's very erect and walks great. And they did a bone scan and her bones are very strong. I mean, it's usually at that age you would tend to see some osteoporosis or osteopenia, and they didn't. They say, "Well, what are you doing? Keep on doing it," because it's working. And yeah, little did they know that the son was giving him a little testosterone here and there. So oxandrolone in a different way, it's by mouth. So and she loves it. She's not going to stop taking it because she feels more energy too. So it's something that's not advocated in traditional medicine, and that could really save a lot of lives if we were a little more open-minded to these things. Yeah.
and that's also with, you mentioned the food, your nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice with my friends who are of certain age also, but they're deteriorating rapidly, and
Yes.
they're constantly, somebody's always shoving some kind of pill down their throat. And I don't mean like, a prescription pill. I mean a vitamin, but no
Mm,
one is encouraging them to get up and walk,
right.
to move, to put on some music and dance. And so that's also very concerning. And I've been
Yeah.
wanting to hopefully, as you and I work closer together, and my dream is that you will have a column so that we can really have some, real solid medical information, because you never know what's there anymore. And mostly the folks I work with, they're people who would lived experienced.
Mm.
And so, yeah, and I need someone with that science experience
Yeah.
and that
Well,
medical.
I'm happy to help. I mean, I've been around for a long time too, which gives me some wisdom that I can share. And that's one of my goals, is to be able to share my knowledge and wisdom so people can really learn and we can reach out to the masses versus me seeing people one-on-one. So
Yes.
one of the things that I think is important to understand about nutrition and exercise is that, first of all, we have to eat good foods, clean food, nutrition, higher amounts of protein, which is very important, especially in women. And good fats. Fats are not bad, but as long as they're good fats like fish oil, olive oil, avocado, and carbs like potatoes, rice. Even in the Mexican community, tortillas are good, but in moderation, in measuring what you're eating. The second thing that we don't do as much is exercise. We don't exercise in this country as we should, and everybody is very sedentary. So that is killing our kids, especially our kids now. When I was young, we went out and played all the time, no matter if it was in the rain. Now the kids now like to be in bed scrolling around for, they call it bed rotting. Bed rotting. Kids are bed rotting because there are hours scrolling in the device and looking mindlessly at stuff in the phone. And I don't allow that with my kids. I'm like, you get up now. I mean, I have a 13-year-old and he's very active and he does not like social media. He's, believe it or not, and he's just up and running all the time. The older one, he's a teenager. He does like to scroll, and I said, nope, give me the phone. We can't scroll, because that also causes depression, by the way. Social media can cause, in endless scrolling for hours, will cause nothing but anxiety and depression. That's
And
another
then
big problem.
it stops their sleep. I'll be working with the kids and they're exhausted. I was up all night. But what did
Yep.
you do? And so there's no expectation, like you have an expectation. Hey, time to go to bed. Turn that thing off. And I notice in my community that even the baby in the stroller, mommy gives them the phone.
Yeah.
So that, or a bottle of Kool-Aid or some sugary drink. And so that's another thing that, and we touched about that earlier, about that diabetes. And you just mentioned the Mexican, Puerto Rican, el arroz blanco con huevo frito, but my sister was diabetic. She died recently, and she couldn't have white rice, and she couldn't have that.
No, usually it's brown rice, jasmine rice, or if you can't eat rice, we do a gut testing to see what you do a better job. Might be potatoes, might be asparagus, maybe just vegetables. So everybody's different in the way they metabolize, and that's usually we study that to make sure that they're eating the right foods.
So okay, of course it makes absolute sense. How else can you measure the milestones and
ancestry is important. Whatever your parents or ancestors ate is an important gauge to know what you do well with food, what kind of foods are going to be best for you. Here in the U.S., we have a lot of processed food, so that's devastating to a lot of the Mexican American community. I mean, it's just really because it has such high charges of sugar that we can't process that amount of sugar.
No, I was so this year is my 10th year of being diagnosed with breast cancer. So, yeah, and
congratulations on your 10th year.
Gracias. It was nothing. Ay. Pero they asked me 2 questions right off. Are you a smoker? No, I used to be a smoker, but I'm not a smoker. Second question was, do you go to fast food? Yes, I'm addicted to fast food. So I have no history on my biomom or my medical stuff. And so their assessment was that that food process was, and it took me a long time to cut that addiction, doctor. Even with the cancer stuff, it was like, I'm just going to drive in and get a salad, wink, wink. And so that's the kind of stuff I really, really, really want to talk about and just bring out that importance that we see our children obese. They can't even move.
Yeah.
And they won't eat anything unless it's fried, unless it's
Mm-hmm.
and so how can we gently or maybe not so gently change that? Or I think it's through education. Keep talking about it, keep putting it out there, because
Yeah.
it's like I don't see it anywhere. I just see fast food, go get this. And so, and as I work with the young people, I want them to be advocates. I want them to be
Yeah.
the warriors. I want them
Mm-hmm.
at the Cinco de Mayo parade to stand there, as
Mm-hmm.
promotores de salud,
Yeah.
ayudando a la comunidad. And so, yes, but I also want to talk about your clinic, because when I pulled up the website with your wife, it looks so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, if you could please and tell us a little bit about her background and
Yeah.
how,
So
yeah,
yes. So we have you saw the website for Viva Vitality Lakeville. So what we do is we promote there's hormone replacement therapy, which, as we hit 25, we all decline, and that's just part of our optimization. But it's not just hormones; it's whatever they require. Is health optimization is what I like to call it. Improve your longevity, your health quality as you get older. And what better time to do that than when you're younger? When we tell people to start investing, we don't tell them to start investing when they're old. That we always give them the rule that the sooner the better, right? Because it compounds, right? So the same thing with health. I mean, the sooner you start thinking about these things, about protection with sun protection, eating the right foods, exercising, it's going to be a lot easier to take care of yourself as you get older. So so those are the things we advocate in the community here in Lakeville. We do IVs too to help people recover from addiction. We use IV also to help people improve their health. And IV is just multivitamins through a solution going through the vein. We do help people with other issues, like, for example, menopause in women, big thing. Menopause is highly linked to diabetes and metabolic disease in women. So the earlier we start tackling that, even though you're not in menopause yet, but starting early, pre-menopause and peri, better. So we start with that to improve your metabolic rate and make sure your body composition looks good and you're not gaining weight as you get older and past menopause. Those are some of the things we do. We do weight management too in young and old. We see young people who are in their 20s and 30s who are overweight or who have metabolic disease, and we'll help them in that journey to be healthy. So many things that we can offer in the community that are mostly preventive and have to do with longevity. Now, my wife Elizabeth has been with me, for 6 years, and she's been instrumental in helping out in the backbone of the clinic. She's also the co-founder and has a lot of creativity and has created a lot of the beauty that you see in those clinics is because of her work. She's done a lot of the design and a lot of the planning, and I just see the patients. So that's kind of
but
my role here. I see patients. She takes care of the backbone,
but
and
she's more than that. I think a little bit more, because isn't she also yoga? Doesn't she do?
yeah,
Doesn't she
well,
do?
she works out. That's she likes to work out. She also
Yeah.
embraces the health of women. She's coming out with a book herself on
Yes.
why women are going crazy. I think it's a book. It's not that I'm crazy. It has to do with hormone replacement in women that we tend to say, oh, she's depressed, she's anxious. No, there's more to that. It's hormone replacement that really the women need, proper hormone replacement so they can feel at their best and they sleep well. So those are things that she's coming out with a book in English and Spanish, by the way. She's going to be doing it in English and Spanish because we'll be presenting in Mexico City in late January, February. front of 300 women and more. Not only women, there'll be spouses and men as well, and also the gay community as well in Mexico. And we'll be talking a lot about health in terms of health optimization and how we do it here. The Mexico government seems to be very interested in making the population healthier as well and being preventive.
Wow. Yeah, I knew that she bought that extra salsa, tú sabes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
el
She brings an extra
sazón.
sauce, an extra thing topping on that. It makes it spicier.
El
So
sazón, yeah.
a spicier, yeah. So she's been very good with helping out and complementing that. No, and she does a lot of the IVs too. She does the phlebotomies, which means blood draws, and does a lot of work, related to this. And patients love her too. Very
Oh,
open.
wow. Well, we
Mhm.
look forward to having an interview with her in the future, especially after you come back from Mexico.
Yes,
Yeah, I think that's
when we're done in January, yeah. So yeah, they've been doing some promotions, and I'm doing an article was already accepted to be on Forbes Mexico. Forbes Mexico, they one of my articles on how the metabolic disease. I'll share that with you, Carmen, and
please
it will be
do,
in
please
Spanish, and
do.
it got accepted. So I just heard today that the journal that they're going to publish it. So that's a big deal.
Oh, wow. That is a very, very big deal. We've been concentrating here a little bit on research with the U of M Partners for Pain, the Masonic Institute Brain Development. And so it's exciting to hear you talking about this because it's all research and
Yes.
yeah, and and for me it's letting la comunidad know that we need research.
Yeah.
Okay, you can participate in a research. You don't have to worry about somebody drawing your blood and cloning you or putting
Mm-hmm.
you in ice or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
pero con esperanza y con with faith, to trust our medical experts here like yourself, so we can fill that gap. And
Yes.
when I think about Elizabeth, the first thing that comes to my mind is how can I get those young ladies to meet Elizabeth,
Mm-hmm.
my young girls, so that they could have that, because Elizabeth is very exciting. She makes you want to do yoga in a minute. You run into Elizabeth and right away, I want to stand in one leg and show that I can do stuff. Unfortunately, we lost Dr. Morales otra vez, se fue, pero it's been a very exciting conversación. Perdón que no lo estamos haciendo en español. I think as we do more and more, we'll be doing more Spanish. It's for me, Puerto Riqueña, born in Brooklyn, I'm very Spanglish. Pero es un honor hablar con el doctor Alfonso sobre este tema tan importante de salud. Y en estos momentos hablando sobre el fentanol y hablando sobre opioides y la salud mental de nuestros niños, es también importante para saber que la familia es el corazón para asistir en la comunidad. Y le apoyo a ustedes que por favor llámenos, participen con nosotros, usen conversaciones de salud para ustedes, para compartir, para hacer. A mí me encantaría hacer like a novela type, thing where we have a show. We're doing a wheel, Dr. Alfonso. So we've got a health wheel we're going to spin with your picture right in the middle. And then we're going to spin the wheel, and whatever subject it falls on, like diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
lo que sea, so we could prepare our audience in case they have any questions or in case that's a topic that they're really most interested in. But
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great.
yeah, I just wanted to share that with you because what you're doing is every time I talk to you, it's like it's expanded more and more and more and more. And
We're trying to do our best to kind of accomplish what we can and help the community. Yeah.
wow, es un orgullo tan grande because I'm used to hearing a lot of people talk the talk. Oh, I want to do this, we're going to do that, but very few can actually walk that talk. Y calladito and just stay focused. And so watching your clinics come to life, because you have one in St. Paul and one in Lakeville. ¿Verdad que sí?
Right.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And so there's no reason why we couldn't, bring folks to this platform where they
Right.
can have that confianza para hablar con usted. And I would like really to feature you in Conversaciones de Salud. We have a limited printing, but it's a printed version lasts, forever. This is our latest copy.
Yes.
¿Verdad que sí, qué lindo está? And so
Nice.
I look
I
forward
have a
to,
copy. Yeah, I think I have.
yeah, and I look forward to having it in your clinics. And then
Absolutely.
with you right there, tú sabes.
Well, that's a great part of it because the patients like it when they see my face there. Whatever it is, whatever publication, they like to see my face. We were at Minnetonka Lake Lifestyles. They had my face there. My Elizabeth. They had one for St. Paul Community, Hawthorne. I mean, they like to see that, so that's always good.
Oh yeah, I get a lot of always asked, how do we work with the Latino community? What are the easiest ways? Y para mí, it's always just using, common sense, humanity. Acknowledging someone,
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Don't worry if you got the right language, don't have the right language."
Right.
Just a smile and acknowledgement, and I
Absolutely.
think as we highlight. Because my plan is to, be a continuous, not just showcase you one time y ya se acabó, pero continuous, because where we're going to be in a year from now. Right now, the federal government is not allowing dual language materials, like in the tax rooms.
Right.
When you go to the IRS, no va a haber forma en español. Entonces, pues, I think it's our responsibility to be sure we can provide that for nuestra comunidad, those dual language. And so I'm hoping that Conversaciones de Salud will be that vehicle. And we just want to present it to you. So, mi casa es su casa. So you can use it as that vehicle to not only share information, but to highlight these wonderful things you're doing. Este viaje para Mexico, that's very important. We need to highlight that. When you go down there, you need to take out your camera and you need to take pictures. And
we'll have a cameraman doing that
and
too.
send it right away so we can put it in there.
Yeah, we'll be having somebody that will take care of that. That's a good thing. And so, yeah, it's a big deal. We'll be at the World Trade Center there. So it'll be nice to see that.
In Mexico City? You're going to
Mexico City, yeah, the big tower that they have there. So that's going to be, and they're going to advertise quite a bit before I go there.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yes.
But I'll be doing monthly Forbes Mexico articles, and that'll help kind of build up momentum.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I see, sister cities, Lakeville and Mexico.
Yeah, well, that's the article is like Minnesota, more about Minnesota and Mexico, how that we can come connected, especially with the Hispanic community that lives here, which is great in the Mexico, which is one of the largest Latin American country, I think.
Yes.
In terms of population, yeah.
Yeah, and borders or no borders, los mexicanos están
everywhere. Yeah, well, in the United States, there's no. That's why I think what I want to tell the young people for having hope is that, right now the administration is just a passage. It's a stage. It's an unfortunate stage, but I think this will pass. Good things are always in the horizon. There's always hope, and just keep on working, keep on doing what you're doing. Showing up is very important. Um, don't let stress bring you down. Don't let bad news bring you down. I mean, it's always, I don't watch the news purposefully.
I don't either.
Rarely do I, because I think a lot of it is sometimes more than what we need to hear, or it's too, in Spanish we say in Mexico, amarillista, which means very pessimist news. Yeah, and that's the last thing we need for mental health. I mean, we just need to have more hope. And the interesting part is we don't hear about the little miracles that are happening every day. Because trust me, there are little miracles that are happening every day. There
Yes.
are good people out there that are
Yes.
doing good things every day, and it's
Yes.
not being advertised or put in the news. So
Mhm.
please be mindful of that. And there's a time when, I mean, Hispanics will definitely have a say in how this government is run. There's no question about that.
Oh, I so agree. And I always tell the young people, no te apures, que no hay mal que por bien no venga. You
That's
know,
right.
so that, and that's, that's how we roll
Yeah.
on the miracle side,
Yeah.
and on that side of having mentors like yourself that are approachable,
Yes.
that are inclusive, that are passionate, because
Mm-hmm.
la comunidad can read that in a minute. They scan you in a second and they'll go, oh, gracias, but they'll go back, mira, ten cuidado. But before we leave, we've got a few more minutes. I want to make sure that if we could reprint your Forbes article. uh,
Yes.
yeah,
Well, as I have
whenever
the,
you're ready.
yeah, I think we can wait until it's published, and then you can see the article with the publication, or I can send you what was accepted, whatever you want to do as
Yeah,
far
let's
as the
wait till
article.
it's published.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's the big, tú sabes, Forbes in Mexico, right here in Minnesota.
So that's always good. Yeah, maybe I'll write one for Forbes USA here too. So making sure,
Yes,
because
we
about
do.
mental, I mean, they're
We
Forbes is
do.
a business journal, so it's more about they're interested in how healthcare can be really. I mean, it's a great part of the economy. Great part of the economy. So if you don't pay attention to this, we're in the wrong. We're going to be
We're
broke.
we're gonna be broke, and worse, we're going to be in complete chaos because of the
Decline.
mental in the
Mhm.
mental health. And I noticed even with the youth that we're working with, last year when we started, and the conversations bien difícil, the depression y cómo se sentían. So Eric Ortiz had them play outside he got a soccer ball. 2 hours later, the kids are sweating, but they're relieved. And nobody están hablando de depression in a positive way. How we can, yeah. So
Mhm.
I think that's very, very important to have those conversations and let the children and families know that it's okay if you're depressed. It's okay if you, uh, as long as we're together and we know that we can.
Absolutely. No, as long as we have togetherness and we are all in this together as a community, we help each other. I mean, we cannot survive alone. We have to help each other in the community, and that's the important. And in love and is important. Always smile at people. Always approach. If you see a kid who's being bullied or a kid who's being isolated, approach that kid. Approach
Mhm.
that kid. If a kid has a disability or something, approach that kid and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" That's all it takes. Put your hand on the shoulder. How are you doing? How are you feeling? You're going to make the day for that
Yeah.
person, and that's what we need, because that's kind of what happened with the shooter of Asuncion. Is that he was a person that was ostracized the whole time, and at some point he just exploded. So he was never loved. He was neglected, even by, he thought, even the church himself or the God didn't like him because of his orientation. So, I mean, it's very sad.
It's
All
very,
it
very.
takes.
But I so agree with you, que el amor, and that's what I love about my community, because no matter what happens, it's always bendición, Dios te bendiga, no te apure, vamos a orar, vamos a comer.
Yeah, vamos a comer. Yeah, let's eat. That'll solve everything.
Yeah.
But
Go clean, do something.
And then always smiling. And that's one of the things that Elizabeth was exploring, was finding out with the Mexican community that we saw with the immigrations, is that she was always impressed of how grateful the community was and always smiling no matter what the conditions they were in or the stressors they had. So that says a lot.
Wow. And look at what she's doing. She wrote a book. I can't wait for the book.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. So we'll share that.
I look forward to it. We're going to make a big deal out of it.
And we'll have her here. We'll have her here.
Yes.
So
yes, absolutely. And put her book on. I like to do a book club in the magazine.
Okay.
Because I if we don't write our stories, who's going to write them? Somebody else.
Exactly.
And but I want to thank you for joining us. I look forward to our next opportunity to visit. We want to touch upon diabetes. It's very dear to me and to my colleague here, Pedro Figueroa. Gracias, Pepe. And so I think it's a very, very, you think by now it would be part of our vocabulary, and it's not. And so, yeah, for la próxima. But would you like to leave us with a quote, with adios?
Yes, I would like to share this quote, especially for the people that feel down with the immigration and so on. President Reagan, who was a Republican, and maybe I'm too old and most people don't remember him anymore, but Ronald Reagan gave in his last speech, and for those who don't remember him, he was a great president, Republican president, that in his last speech as a president, he said something very, very meaningful to everybody. And he said, this is a quote of him. He said, "You may move to France and you're never a Frenchman. You may move to Japan, you're never Japanese. You may move to England, you're never English. But if you move to America, the United States, you become an American." And that, he said, is that that's what makes our country unique, and the leadership of our country unique, is that anybody who moves to this country has the potential of becoming an American and being proud of being an American. And he ended his speech by saying, the moment we close our borders to the new immigrants is when our leadership will decline as a country. Please let that sink in. I think that was very important, especially coming from a Republican president, right? And his way out, who had no political gains anymore, and just said it as it is. The truth is that, this country depends on all of you, for leadership. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I'll end the quote there.
Wow, that's a beautiful way to end this wonderful Conversación de Salud. I want to thank all our audience, our supporters, Human Partnership, Eric Ortiz with Strong Mind, Strong Body Foundation, and all these wonderful youth journalists who are really making a big difference, not only in our community and neighborhood, but really across the world. And so, Pepe Figueroa, muchísimas gracias. And Doctor Alfonso Morales, muchas gracias. Hasta pronto. Y por favor, salúdame a Elizabeth.
Claro que sí, un placer. Adiós.
Adiós.
Bye.
Gracias.